Right now, somewhere in your day, a song is going to stop you. You will hear the first few notes, and something in your chest will shift before you even understand why. Maybe your skin will prickle. Maybe your eyes will sting for no clear reason. You will feel it before you can explain it. You probably think this is just entertainment, something your brain enjoys the way it enjoys a good meal or a warm room. But music has no obvious purpose. It doesn't feed you. It doesn't warn you of danger. It doesn't help you find water or shelter. And yet every known human culture on Earth has it. There is no society, ancient or modern, isolated or connected, that has ever been found without some form of song. That should bother you a little. Evolution is not generous. It does not keep things around for free. So if music costs energy and time and gives nothing obvious back, why is it everywhere? The answer starts in a cave in Slovenia with a bone that shouldn't exist. In 1995, archaeologists working in a cave called Divje Babe uncovered a hollowed piece of a young cave bear's thigh bone. It had holes in it, spaced in a way that looked deliberate. The lead researcher, archaeologist Ivan Turk, dated the layer around it to roughly 50,000 years old, which placed it in the hands of Neanderthals, not modern humans. If that dating and interpretation are correct, it means a species we once dismissed as brutish and instinct-driven was shaping bone into something that could carry a tune. Not for hunting, not for warmth, for sound. The claim is genuinely disputed. Some researchers argue the holes were made by a hyena's teeth, not a Neanderthal's hands. Others have run detailed studies of bite patterns and tool marks, and concluded the spacing is too precise, too intentional to be an animal's bite. The debate hasn't fully settled, but even the argument itself tells you something. Scientists are seriously entertaining the idea that Neanderthals made music. That alone reframes what you thought you knew about who they were. What is far less disputed sits in a cave in southern Germany called Hohle Fels. There, archaeologist Nicholas Conrad and his team recovered a flute carved from a vulture's wing bone, complete with 5 carefully placed finger holes. It dates to around 40,000 years ago, and almost no one questions that this one is real. Someone sat down, selected a bird bone, and spent real time and real effort, turning it into an instrument built to make a specific range of sounds. Think about what that means for a moment. This was the Ice Age. Every hour spent shaping a flute was an hour not spent hunting, not spent gathering, not spent staying warm. In a world where a single bad season could kill you, someone decided that sound was worth the risk. So here is the first real question. What could possibly be worth that much? One answer goes back further than any flute. Charles Darwin proposed that music might have started as a form of courtship, the way a bird's song attracts a mate. A controlled voice, a good sense of rhythm, breath control, coordination. These are hard to fake. They can act as an honest signal of health and fitness, long before language existed to describe any of it. That theory explains why music might attract attention. It does not fully explain why humans make music together, in groups, with no romantic goal at all. Parents hum to infants who can't understand a single word. Strangers sing the same song in a stadium and feel bonded to people they will never speak to. Soldiers, protesters, mourners, and celebrants all reach for song in moments that have nothing to do with attracting a partner. This is where the story gets stranger, and where a second explanation comes in. Researchers who study social bonding, including the work associated with anthropologist Robin Dunbar, have proposed that music may have evolved as a kind of vocal grooming. Among primates, one-on-one grooming is how bonds are built and maintained. But grooming only works for small numbers at a time. You can only pick through the fur of one friend at a time. Music breaks that limit. A group can sing together, drum together, move together, and all of them can feel connected at once. Instead of bonding one relationship at a time, singing lets you bond an entire tribe in a single evening around a fire. In a species that survives through cooperation, that ability to rapidly build trust among dozens of people at once is not a luxury. It is a weapon against extinction. That reframes everything you just heard about mating displays. Music wasn't just about being chosen by one person. It became about being trusted by many. But there's a third layer to this, and it lives inside your own skull right now, whether you're a musician or not. In 2011, neuroscientists Valery Salimpur and Robert Zatorre, working out of McGill University, scanned the brains of people listening to music that reliably gave them chills. Using a technique sensitive sensitive enough to detect dopamine release, they found something remarkable. The brain didn't just release dopamine when the emotional peak of the song arrived. It released dopamine in anticipation of that peak, seconds before it happened. That means your brain is not simply reacting to music, it is predicting it. It is constantly guessing what note comes next, what beat comes next, and when the song confirms or gracefully subverts that guess, you get rewarded with one of the same neurochemical pathways involved in food and other forms of tangible pleasure. Music hijacks a reward system built for survival and repurposes it for pattern completion. Here is the counterintuitive part. That means the goosebumps you feel during your favorite song are not really about the sound itself. They are about your brain's ancient prediction machinery, the same machinery your ancestors relied on to predict the movement of prey, the approach of danger, the rhythm of footsteps behind them in the dark. Music succeeds because it plays that prediction game on purpose, rewarding you for guessing right and delighting you when it's wrong in just the right way. There's a fourth piece of evidence, and it doesn't come from a lab or a cave. It comes from the internet. A team at Harvard, led by researcher Samuel Mayer, along with Manveer Singh and their colleagues, built something called the Natural History of Song, a massive archive of recorded music pulled from ethnographic collections representing dozens of societies around the world, including small-scale hunter-gatherer and pastoralist communities with little to no contact with global pop culture. Then they ran a simple test. They played 14-second clips of these songs to people in 60 different countries and asked what the songs were for. Listeners with no shared language, no shared culture, and no familiarity with the specific music could still tell, at rates far better than chance, whether a clip was a lullaby, a dance song, a healing song, or a love song. Lullabies from a community they'd never heard of still sounded unmistakably like lullabies. Slow, simple, soothing. Dance songs from the other side of the planet still sounded unmistakably like something built for movement. Fast, complex, charged with energy. Stop and sit with that for a second. A stranger with zero context can hear 14 seconds of a song from a culture they've never encountered and correctly guess whether it was written to calm a baby or start a dance. That is not a coincidence. That is a signature. It suggests some of the deepest structures of music are not culturally invented at all. They may be built into the architecture of the human mind itself, the same way a smile or a flinch is recognizable everywhere, regardless of where you grew up. Put those threads together and the picture starts to change. A costly signal of fitness, a tool for welding strangers into a tribe, a direct line into the oldest reward circuitry your brain has, a structure recognizable across cultures that have never met each other. None of those explanations needed each other to be true. All four could have been operating at once, reinforcing each other, which might be exactly why music never disappeared, even as it stopped being strictly necessary for survival. Now think about your own life for a second. You put in headphones before a hard conversation, not because the song will fix anything, but because it steadies you first. You and thousands of strangers scream the same lyrics at a concert and walk out feeling like you know each other. You use music to fall asleep, to work out, to grieve, to celebrate, to remember exactly where you were the first time you heard a certain song. None of that is incidental. You are running tens of thousands of years of inherited wiring every single time you press play. Think about a parent humming to a baby at 2 in the morning, half asleep, barely aware they're doing it. That parent is running the same soothing pattern researchers found encoded in lullabies on every inhabited continent. Slow tempo, simple melody, a sound built to calm a nervous system, not impress anyone. No one taught them the formula. It was already sitting in them, waiting. Think about the way a crowd at a concert becomes something different from the individuals who walked in. For those few hours, thousands of strangers move on the same beat, feel the same swell at the same moment, and walk out afterward talking to people they've never met like old friends. That is the tribal fire, scaled up to stadium size. Your phone can hold more music than any human in history has ever had access to. You carry an instrument-shaped hole in your pocket, where a Neanderthal once carried a hollowed bone. The tools changed completely. The reason underneath them did not. So the next time a song stops you mid-sentence and your chest tightens before your mind catches up, you'll know what's actually happening. That feeling is not new. It is not modern. It is not even, strictly speaking, yours alone. It is a signal being passed down a chain that reaches back through campfires and caves, back to someone standing in the freezing dark, deciding that a hollow piece of bone was worth carving, because the sound it made was worth more than the time it cost.
You didn't inherit a love of music. You inherited the reason for it.